Ashton Rich. It's crunch time.
It's crunch time once again in Clarksville, Tennessee. Jeff Matthews, Ashton Rich, Brad Bader on the board coming to you here in 91.9. It has been a wild week for sports in general, I think. A lot of stuff coming out, even with soccer, something that we don't usually cover too much about. UFC, boxing, there's a lot of things going on. Baseball, Austin Peay, baseball, softball. We're definitely going to have to get into everything because it's going to be an exciting time. But
first, how was your weekend, Jeff?
Oh.
Snap.
Yeah, I'm taking your bit. What of it?
Oh, he's mad because I took his bit earlier.
No, that's not the case.
It's called revenge.
It may be.
Maybe?
Are you going to take...
Anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, I'll go ahead and I'll go first. It feels weird, but I'll go first.
Yeah.
My weekend was awesome. So I have another job that is production crew for the Nashville Sounds. So that started back up on Sunday. Sunday. So I was able to go do that. Fantastic time, perfect weather. Had a great time with that. And then went to a Predators game last night, and we are definitely going to have to talk about that because some exciting stuff happened. And we'll talk about that later. But other than that, had a great weekend. Planning to go see my dad here at some point this week. He kind of lives over in North Carolina. But other than that, pretty good. Ashton?
I was at the house all weekend. I had a nice weekend where wake up, throw on the same clothes you wore yesterday, and don't leave the house.
Oh, wow. That sounds fantastic.
It was great.
No responsibilities.
Exactly.
Oof. Bradley?
Had a big Saturday. My fiance went and grabbed some more honeybees for me. That's
Nice.
right. I'm a beekeeper. And then I got as sportsy as I could by cycling 20 miles in my cycling class here at Austin Peay. We went to go meet a horse named Mr. Ed and feed him apples.
Okay.
Well,
That sounds like a...
I had an
great
apple
weekend,
this
honestly.
weekend, too.
I did not.
I'm sorry.
I did not keep the doctors away this
It's
weekend.
delicious. I love apples.
Apples are
Did you
tasty.
say you're a beekeeper?
Yes, I keep bees.
So my father started doing that a while back ago. He gave it up because he lost all the bees. They all escaped.
That is a
they all
possibility.
escaped
They
his
can fly away.
Oh,
I
God,
mean,
my bees!
Yeah. He calls me. He was like, I lost all my bees. I was like, oh, my goodness, this is not happening. Luckily, they actually ended up colonizing in a tree like right above where he was keeping them.
Yeah.
And there's actually a way you can get them back
Okay.
down. Like with some kind of oil, I think is what you use.
I just imagine a reporter, breaking news, the
Yeah.
bee population in North Carolina has tripled in the last hour.
It would be that. Honestly, I could see that happening. My father would just knock over the thing sometimes. It's kind of scary. I don't ever go out there with him because I'm not messing with him. Anyway, let's get into some sports, shall we?
Okay.
Austin Peay baseball.
Stinks.
Not
good.
Not good. 12-21 overall record. 9-9 in the conference, which I mean,
Okay,
at the end of the
sure.
day, it's you're 500
In the conference,
in the
you're all
conference.
right,
You're all
but,
right.
It's not going to make you feel any better about playing Vanderbilt tonight.
I was about to say, yeah, they got a big contest coming up tonight with Vanderbilt at 6:30 in Vanderbilt. I don't know if that one's going to be pretty, to be honest with you.
Well, we saw how their game against Ole Miss went, so
Ooh, I don't think they want us to talk about that game.
I don't think they want us to talk about very many of their games.
I don't think so either. But I guarantee you the softball team would like for us to talk about
Softball team's
them.
playing very well this
Oh,
year.
my goodness. I feel so bad because I haven't had a chance to really cover them. But 23-9 on the season, 18-7 in the conference. And then this past series that they had with Tennessee State University swept them completely. They only allowed 5 runs the whole entire series, and that was in the first game. They won that one 6-5 Austin Peay, and then 8-0 the next game, and then 4-0 the next game. So 18-5 at all points outscored them. I mean, kind of incredible. And then now they have a 3-game series coming up with Southern Illinois. It's a doubleheader on the 24th, and then they have one game on Sunday. So hopefully our Lady Governors can go out there and get some work done.
Kind of getting it done the same way they have for the past few years. Strong starting pitching. That's what they had our entire time here, is just really, 1 or 2 really good pitchers on the mound, and then just some solid hitting. Just kind of back to basics, taking care of the little things and get it done.
Fun fact about the softball team. There was, when I was in middle school maybe, I might have been even younger than that, my sister, who played softball over at Mount Juliet High School, had a teammate come here to Austin Peay, and I think she did fantastic. Her name was Megan Williams. She was a great pitcher. And then ever since, I got here, I feel like Austin Peay has had some seriously good pitching over on the softball team. I think it was last season or the season before that. Not last season, pre-COVID. They had a pitcher, I forget her name, and I apologize, but they had a pitcher that I think pitched for over 7 innings because they went into extra innings, and she was still pitching. Had like 21 strikeouts.
Oh, yeah.
It was just dangerous. Like, she won OVC Player of the Week, obviously, for that. Fantastic. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully Austin Peay can just kind of keep generating a lot of great pitchers for that softball program.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. Now, we got to go back to the Deshaun Watson situation. Now, I've said it before. It's a horrible situation. And I am in the stance that I don't think Deshaun Watson will play football ever again. Adam Schefter tweeted out a post that basically was Deshaun Watson's attorneys answering all of the claims. And in these answers, the attorneys basically, they give a number, and then they give kind of like debunking what that plaintiff said.
Yeah, and it's never a good look. I think, admittedly, I only read it once, and I think on the first reading I read, only 2 of the 22 actually had something happen. And I read that, and I stopped. I was like, did I just read that right?
Yeah.
Did I read that incorrectly?
It did, I
was like, that
if people
doesn't
read
help,
this, if you read this and you lean towards siding with Deshaun Watson, now I do think that some of the claims, if are true, I think it definitely needs to be looked into.
it's jail time.
Oh yeah, 100%. For Deshaun Watson, if any of this is true, I think he should go to jail. But
Jail time for sure.
and then also never play another down in football ever again.
Fun fact: Alden Smith is wanted for crimes again, so that's fun.
Is he really?
He's wanted somewhere in Louisiana, I believe.
Oh wow.
I saw his mugshot, or not mugshot, but his wanted poster last night.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
Did it say for what?
Battery or assault or something like that, I believe. Let me
Yeah.
go see if I can find the
Yeah,
mugshot
go for
real
it.
quick.
Do that
Because
real quick.
my buddy Jake, who's a Cowboys fan, in our fantasy football group message sent it, was like, well, boys, it's that time of the year again, and it was just his like wanted poster. And it's like, okay.
The
Like-
Cowboys have a pretty good history of having players get in trouble.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They're kind of almost like the wannabe Raiders of the new era.
That's true. Randy Gregory.
Randy Gregory.
That
he
was a
won
bad one.
Mila's,
Pac-Man Jones got in trouble when he was
Pac-Man.
with us. Marion Barber got in trouble when he was with us.
I don't remember Marion Barber getting in trouble, but now that you say it,
I think he did. I think it was Marion Barber. I know. Who am I thinking of? Well, I know Ezekiel Elliott got in trouble. He had that whole entire issue come up. And
yeah, the Zeke thing was kind of just, I think it's more of just an immaturity thing at that point. But
I
here
do
we
too.
go.
But
Let's see. It says NFL player Alden Smith wanted in NOLA, suburb of St. Bernard Parish, by the sheriff and district attorney for second-degree battery at a coffee house.
at a coffee, who gets mad at a coffee house?
That's kind of what I'm thinking, to be honest.
I'll be honest.
His coffee must have been way too cold.
Either that, or
the
he
only
got
explanation.
one too many espresso shots.
That is also a very large possibility.
Like-
But
Never been to a coffee shop and got mad. I don't think I've ever had that happen.
oh no, most of the time if I'm in a coffee shop, I'm very relaxed. I'm like, I'm happy.
I'm also only there for 5 minutes because I don't sit in coffee shops.
No, I'm not the type of person who like goes and like whips out my like laptop and I'm like, ooh,
no.
I'm working on things right now.
I have to seclude myself, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I sit at home on my desk, and that's it.
I either work in my living room with music going and a candle lit, or I will be in one of the study rooms in my office. So
It's a good time. Good time. Deshaun Watson's never playing football again.
Hopefully
That's
not.
basically the wrap up of that conversation.
at this point, probably not.
I don't think so.
Hopefully not.
Which, honestly, I mean, that's close to what he wanted in a way. I mean, he did not want to play for Houston, so now he won't.
Well, it's unfortunate because Deshaun was one of the rising
was.
stars of the league, and he was, top 10 for sure, arguably top 5 quarterback in the league, and, the Texans getting him some help this offseason might have turned their fortune around, but at this point, it looks like it's going to be a long rebuilding process for the Texans.
Yeah, I think so, too. Hopefully they can get something in the draft that's coming up on the 29th.
They're going to have to
They're going to have to figure out something. Who do you think they go for here?
Well, honestly, when you're down this bad and you literally have no good players at all anymore, I
Yep.
think arguably their best player is David Johnson, who's kind of a washed RB.
Right.
I think that your best option is just BPA. You just go best player available.
Yeah.
You're not. I don't remember. I think they have a top 10 pick. I don't exactly remember.
I
how
can't
high
remember.
they're picking.
Well, that was my thing.
But-
I don't think they even I don't know if they have the capital to.
No, actually, they don't even have a pick this year, if I remember correctly. Their pick was the Dolphins' pick. They traded away their first round.
That's right. They
pick.
did.
They don't even have a pick until the second round this year.
That's bad moves.
It's terrible moves.
That's horrible. That was a gamble, and they lost.
Oh, they lost big. They lost the house. That's
yeah,
for sure.
That is 100% sure. We're going to move on to our next topic. Now, this topic Again, something we've never really covered fighting, UFC and boxing or anything like that. But we're going to today because this past weekend we got to witness. I didn't know. Let me rephrase that. I didn't pay for it. I didn't pay for the pay-per-view. I don't pay $50 to watch a YouTuber fight.
I'll go to like
mixed martial artist.
I'll go to like Hooters or something like.
Maybe right.
Yeah.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Something.
Ben Askren fought Jake Paul. Jake Paul took a step in and just hit him with a right jab, or right hook, excuse me. Puts Askren down on the mat and wins it in the first round. Kind of shocked everybody because Ben Askren is a mixed martial artist. He's been doing it for years. He was a professional, he was a collegiate wrestler. Has a couple of national titles with the NCAA, and then he also has a couple of I think it's Big Ten championships as well for Askren. And he just smiled and walked away and got paid $500.
Yeah, so $500,000 just to make that distinction.
Yeah.
So I do think it's funny that you mentioned that because I do not watch mixed martial arts really. I keep up with it. I see the big knockouts on Twitter. I try to keep up with it. Not well. A friend of mine does very closely follow it, and he was mentioning at the weigh-in that Askren just looked like fat, out of shape, and all this other stuff. And it kind of put the seed in my mind. I was like, oh, Askren's just here for the paycheck because like he can't even get from his words were he can't get MMA fights anymore because he's so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like, and the memes that have come off of it are hilarious. Like a lot of them are just the picture of like Michael Jordan crying with the Larry O'Brien trophy, and it's like Jake Paul in 6 months when he knocks out a Walmart cashier. And it's just like, yeah,
that's really funny. Well, now there's talks for Paul to get into the ring with Tom Fury. I don't know if you know who that is. But Tom Fury is a professional boxer. His brother is Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury is the world heavyweight champion right now. A lot of people would love to see this fight. I think I would love to see this fight.
I don't think Jake Paul wants any smoke.
He doesn't.
With a real boxer.
He's already. I think he's already said that he doesn't want to fight a real boxer, and that doesn't make sense to me. Because he was so serious about this fight with Ben Askren, about proving himself as a boxer, about being able to go in and do a whole lot of work, and then he's not willing to go fight a professional boxer
because he's a YouTuber, not a boxer.
Exactly. I think we have to understand here, and this is going to be my take, and it can be whatever. I don't think Jake Paul cares about boxing.
Oh no, he's just purely in it for the exposure.
I think he's in it. I mean, don't get me wrong, he has done well.
He's in it for his brand.
Exactly. He's done a great job. He's been able to get into the ring. He's been able to put some punches in. He actually looks decent. Like he's not a bad fighter, but it's a money grab. It's not about like I don't think he's looking to go do the cruiserweight championship.
No,
title.
I don't think he wants any smoke with.
No,
like
I think Tom Fury would. Tom Fury might murder him.
Yeah, I just I don't think he wants any. I'm not sure about his dimensions, like what size, because I know size plays into a role in boxing as far as what division you're in. But I don't see him wanting anything to do with like a Canelo Alvarez.
No.
Or
no, gosh, no.
A Tyson Fury. If he's big enough, a Deontay Wilder, he doesn't want any part of that.
None of that. I don't know if Jake Paul can get up there with Wilder
or
absolutely Tyson.
Not.
Love to see it.
Even Bud Crawford,
there you go,
doesn't want anything to do with any of those guys.
Is George Foreman still alive? Let's get him in the ring. Right? If Mike Tyson's coming back,
I was about to say, while we're at it, Mike Tyson's planning to come back. Let's see Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Let's see. Let's make it happen.
Oh my gosh, Jake Paul.
Let's start a GoFundMe.
I think he would be. I would be scared.
I wouldn't.
I will be honest though.
Mike Tyson could be in a wheelchair and I wouldn't fight him.
Okay, so here's the truth of here's a true statement. You know Justin Wagner, who's my partner.
Yes.
We announced together over in Ashland City. He and I were talking about the Mike Tyson comeback, and I told him, I said, listen, I know I would get knocked out immediately, but I would step into the ring with Mike Tyson and let it happen.
Funny you should say that. So there was a thing I saw a while back on the internet, because that's where I spent all my time, and it was a hypothetical. It's like you get to choose at what age you want to fight Mike Tyson.
Yep.
And you get $1 million for however many years he is old if you win. What age are you fighting him at? And I was like, I'm going to fight him when he's like 5, because at that point I'm just knocking out a toddler and I'm like the worst human on earth, but I'm $5 million richer, so I don't care.
That's true. That's true. 99? Can you do 99? Do you think he can get you at 99?
See, I didn't think that far ahead. I think it's at his current age, so it's anything his current age or prior. So I think they knocked him being elderly out of it. But
I was going to say, if he's 99, I'm just...
I mean, I'd be cool with
I'm taking his walker away.
Even him at like 12. I mean, I'll knock out a 12-year-old for $12 million. I don't care.
Knock over a 12.
Exactly, yeah. Just
12-year-olds. That's what the show's about. Knocking out 12-year-olds.
Knocking out little children and calling coaches bums.
We do not promote
So
violence.
there's a story that NBA legend Kendall Gill wants to fight Jake Paul.
I think there's a few out there that are wanting to fight him.
It says Jake Paul's a cruiserweight, and depending on which sport you're in, that's about 181 to 195.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Tyson and Wilder are like
200s.
Yeah,
so
way up there. I don't think
and
he can
Canelo,
do that.
I think, is below him significantly.
Yes.
So okay.
Now, I mean, Jake Paul can definitely.
Here's the thing.
I think he has room to gain some weight, but
I
not
don't
much.
think Jake Paul wants anything with some of the basketball players either. Now, Kendall Gill, I'm not familiar with him, but like you're telling me, he's about to step into the ring with like Ron Artest or something.
Hey, Brad, can you look up and see if Paul has said anything about who he wants to fight?
I know he called out McGregor a while back, or was that
Jake
Logan?
Paul did?
I think he did.
One of no. Logan Paul.
It was Logan.
Logan Paul's brother called out Mayweather.
No. One of them like called out McGregor for sure.
Really?
Yes, I remember seeing the video on maybe Instagram. He was like stepping out of his car and he had a cigar, and he was like, "Here's a check right here, Connor. All you gotta do is fight me," or something like that. And it's like, dude, you don't want anything to do with Conor McGregor.
No.
Like, I promise you.
No, even though Conor McGregor,
I'm being told it was Jake Paul.
It was Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's kind of wild.
I don't like. Conor McGregor's not the best boxer, but like,
No.
Conor McGregor's like
He went how many rounds with Mayweather?
exactly.
He went, I think, 8.
He's a very experienced boxer. He
Yes.
will murder you.
Yes.
He will fold you like the little YouTuber you are. Like,
And it's so wild to Jake Paul and Jake and Logan Paul. They have put their own respective podcasts that
Their
they do,
brands,
their
yeah.
brands or whatever that they do. They still have their YouTube channels that they post videos to and all this other stuff. Cool, you guys do your thing. Like, I get it. However, I do not like their attitude towards kind of coming into it. It just seems that they're so. It feels like there's so many people that view their channel and so many people that are watching them. They feel like they're invincible. Like they kind of give off that aura. For me, I just don't like that.
I could see that. I can remember way back when Vine was a thing, if you can believe that. Way back in the olden days, because that's where Logan Paul kind of first got started, was Vine, which is basically 6-second YouTube anyway. But I remember like, oh yeah, this guy's funny, and that was like 10 years ago, and now I just like can't stand the guy. Like I just.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. I don't know. Sometimes people will grow on you. Like, I didn't like Conor McGregor for a long time. And then I think kind of like maybe when he came back and fought Cowboy Cerrone is where I kind of started to kind of be like, all right, I kind of do like Conor. He's arrogant, yes, but
that's part of the
that's part of the game.
Part of being a fighter.
Yeah.
That's part of your cult. Like
you get a certain level of arrogance when you become a fighter.
You kind of have to have Michael Jordan syndrome as a fighter.
That is
true.
true.
You have to believe that you're the best.
Yeah, you do.
Like,
You do, 100%.
So I will probably butcher the name, but it says Jake Paul calls out Dustin
Poirier.
for his
So
next fight.
Isn't Conor McGregor fighting Poirier again?
I believe so. Yes.
Conor McGregor and Poirier are fighting for a third time, I think, in July.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So Poirier knocked out Conor McGregor the last time they fought, which was a few months ago. I don't think Jake Paul wants to step into the ring with Poirier. I think he wants to, but I don't think he needs to.
If he's stepping in the ring in boxing, I think he
Right.
feels okay. It's
Right.
MMA where you start getting.
But
like
even that, Poirier, I'm pretty sure, is a pretty good striker. Like, he's not. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure he can come out there with some fists. Like, it's not like he can. Better than Ben Askren is what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to come
not
out
saying
to.
much.
Yeah,
but
not saying much, but
I will say
I think I'm better than Ben Askren.
The picture of Ben Askren like with a huge smile on his face walking out of the arena
with his wife or girlfriend.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like what he was there for. He was just there to get his money and go.
Yeah.
Which I respect that. Go ahead and get your bag. Go ahead.
He probably looked at his wife and was like, "Hey, did you grab the check or do I need to go get it?"
Yeah.
Because I mean, he did not care at all.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't either.
It was kind of fun to
You,
watch.
you show up, you get knocked out, and you get $500,000.
Yeah, and then again, he also stood back up and wanted to keep fighting, but
Yeah.
he couldn't walk. I don't know if you saw the highlight.
I did.
Yeah, or he did. Stumbled. Next topic, we already kind of touched on the draft, so that one's going to be interesting. We already know that Trevor Lawrence is going to go number 1. The number 2, number 3 spot.
Draft starts at 4.
Draft starts 4.
Draft starts at 4.
Okay.
1 is Lawrence. 2 is going to be Wilson.
Yep.
3 is going to be take your choice of Fields or Mac Jones for the 49ers.
I hope it's Mac Jones.
For the sake of the 49ers being bad, I do too. Lawrence has been the consensus 1 since he stepped on the field in college.
Mm-hmm.
Wilson, the Jets traded Sam Darnold, and they're reportedly in love with Wilson. Their only thing holding them back was the health of his shoulder. He tore his rotator cuff maybe in 2018, and that was the only thing holding them back medically from him. And now they've cleared that. They're good now. And then 3 is where it gets interesting. So you have Mac Jones and Justin Fields for the 49ers.
If Mac Jones goes, you said we're talking about the 3rd spot right here for
Yes.
Mac Jones and Justin Fields, right?
Yes.
So whoever goes to the 49ers, who has that next pick?
The Falcons.
The Falcons. Okay, so I'm assuming the other goes next. That's how it turns out.
Not exactly.
Okay.
So, as for many of the show who may not know, I am a lifelong Falcons fan, so I am well versed in our many options at 4.
Because I don't know because the Falcons don't necessarily. Well, I don't know. Matt Ryan ain't.
Here's the
doing
thing: we're locked in. Well, Matt Ryan was okay last year. The Falcons' problem was defense.
Okay.
Matt Ryan's been consistently at least average, above average his entire career. The Falcons' main problem was they didn't have any defense. They could not stop a Pee Wee team. So you look at what our options are at 4. There's always the trade down option. Some team's going to love a quarterback there and want to go up and get one. Trade down's an option. You're never going to pick that high theoretically. You're not very often that a team that's got 2 Hall of Famers for their respective franchise at the very least, maybe in general on their team, are picking in the top 5. Could be an opportunity to take Kyle Pitts and make 1 or 2 last runs at the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Or, you do like you say, take Fields, let him, Matt, you're locked into Matt Ryan for at least 1 more year.
Right.
We changed his salary cap. We had like no salary cap, so they changed his numbers around. This year's like fully guaranteed as a signing bonus, pushed off some of his dead money to next year.
Gotcha.
Made some cap space basically.
I love that they can do that. Move everything around. That makes things so much easier.
Maybe not as a player, I wouldn't like it, but
yeah, I was about to say.
the point is the Falcons have a lot of options at 4. Micah Parsons is a name that's come up at 4, a super uber athletic linebacker from Penn State.
Yep.
It's too high really to be taking any of the edge rushers in the draft because there's none that are quite that talented to be that top pick. There's no Chase Youngs in this year's draft. There's no Myles Garretts. There's no Bosa brothers. Your first edge rusher typically in mock drafts isn't coming off the board until like pick 20-ish, I believe. This year's really heavy and really good for wide receivers, really good for like linemen, tackles specifically. Off-ball linebackers are also very talented in this year's draft. Safety, defensive backs are very talented. This is the one draft, unfortunately, for the Falcons where the position of need biggest for their team is not a good position in the draft. So you think a lot of the trade scenarios I've seen is the Broncos trading up from 9 to 4. And specifically, it was like the Falcons would give up pick 4 and a 5th this year, or maybe next year, for 9, like pick 50-something, and then a first next year.
Okay.
To me, that's a win. You picked up an additional first. You move back 5 spots. You take best player available at 9. If Pitts is still there, you take him because the Broncos are trading up to 4 to get a quarterback anyway. They would be trading up for Trey Lance in all likelihood, I would think. Maybe Fields if he's there. And then, you trade back to 9. That's, Jalen Waddle territory if you want to upgrade your receiving core. That's Penei Sewell territory if you want to get a good tackle. That's Micah Parsons territory if you want to go off-ball linebacker. Heck, you could even take Patrick Surtain or, I can't remember his name, but the cornerback from Virginia Tech that's very talented in this year's draft.
I know who you're talking about.
There's a lot of options. You could trade back again at 9 if there's someone that really likes Jalen Waddle that wants to go get him at 9 or Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
Or Jamar Chase if he's still there. That's an opportunity to trade back again with a Pittsburgh or a Green Bay or someone that wants to trade up to get a premier pass catcher. That's another opportunity to trade back and get even more assets.
I think this whole entire draft is going to be interesting after the first 4 picks.
Yes, absolutely.
I think it's going to get kind of wild actually to see what teams are going to be doing. I think it's also going to answer a lot of questions as to what the future for a lot of these teams are going to look like. I think this draft is going to be pretty important for a lot of teams.
Absolutely. The NFL draft is always a ton of hope for fan bases. Everyone's 0-0. Everyone's excited about their new draft picks and how they're going to take them to the Super Bowl.
It just seems this year there's so many moving parts. Like there's more and more moving parts.
One thing that I did find interesting specifically for the case of the Falcons at 4 is there are people who are actually suggesting they take Najee Harris at 4.
Oh, wow.
And let me just be very clear here. I am the president of the Running Backs Don't Matter Club. And so I am telling you right now, people listening, watching, I'm telling you right now, running back does not matter in the NFL. It is pointless to take a running back higher than pick, let's say, 25 in the draft because as we've seen for the past 10 years, the teams that's won the Super Bowl, there's only been one instance. We talked about it on the last show. There's only been one instance when they had an all-star running back, and that was the Seahawks with Marshawn Lynch. If the Buccaneers can decimate the Chiefs in the Super Bowl with Leonard Fournette, who was cut before the season started as their best running back does not matter in the NFL.
Yeah, I have to agree with you that we have to move on. We got 2 more topics to cover, at least 2 more topics, and I only got 4 minutes to go.
Yikes.
Preds versus Blackhawks last night. I was at this game. 5-2 Preds win. There is a ginormous story I got to tell. Guy was chirping at us from the back in our section from behind us. He was about 6 rows up. I'm wearing my cowboy hat. Got to represent Nashville, baby. And he decides to stand up, wants to make a bet with me. I didn't bring any cash with me because I think they're cashless over at the Bridgestone right now. So I didn't have any money on me, and also I didn't really want to gamble money. And anyway, he goes, he wants my hat. And I said, ooh, that's a tough one. So the whole section's now staring at us because we're having this conversation 6 rows apart. And he goes, "What do you want?" And I said, "I want the jersey." And the whole section did the whole ooh thing. It was kind of fun. And then yes, that was exactly what they did.
Nice.
And so and then I won. The Preds won, and so now I had to bring it because I was just so excited about it.
Did you wash it at least?
Yeah. No.
You didn't wash it? That's
Nope.
gross. That is.
There it is.
There is COVID on
Some
that jersey.
strange
Yeah,
man's
probably.
Blackhawk jersey.
Some strange man's, but now it's mine. No, it's not some strange man. It's mine.
So a strange man's Blackhawk jersey.
Yeah. Anyway, but I will say, I thought about giving it to Goodwill.
Wow. Okay, Jeff.
Thought about it,
The
but then I was like, I'm
disrespect.
probably gonna give it to a buddy of mine who's a pretty big Blackhawks fan. But it was a great time to watch the game, and he was a great guy. Great banter back and forth. Whole entire time. He and him got a good picture together. If you want to see that picture, it's on my social medias. Sarge Matthews on Instagram.
Don't plug your Instagram.
I had
here.
to
Come
plug
on,
it. I
man.
just plug the Instagram.
No.
Anyway. All right, we'll move on. Major League Baseball, Ronald Acuna rocking it in the National League, having a great time. We have 2 minutes and almost 30 seconds. Not too much about the Braves. Honestly, having a hard time getting things moving, looking a little bit better than they did in the beginning of the season, but hopefully things will kind of start picking up. A lot of games left to be played in Major League Baseball.
Angels not looking too good either. So
You know,
I kept up with them this time.
I'm so proud of
Five-
you.
Keep up.
Five
Good
and
to
five
keep
in the
up.
last 10, so I'm here.
So proud of
I'm
you.
keeping- Hey, Shohei's on the mound tonight for him for the Rangers,
hey,
though. So
European Super League, what do you got?
Man, there's a lot going on. As the show has been going, there's been more and more things coming out. Chelsea has now withdrawn for the European Super League, as has Atletico Madrid. So for any of those that may not be familiar, a lot of the big, huge super clubs in Europe are proposing to create a league that would be just the elite of the elite. Essentially, it'd be like 15 or so of the richest clubs in the world. I believe it's spearheaded by Real Madrid president Florentino Perez, but a lot of fans are upset. Not the majority of fans are upset, saying
would
that
be
it's going to kill the domestic league and other things. But I don't think it's a perfect solution. But at some point, the team president's job is to figure out a way to stop hemorrhaging money because the market for players is so inflated. You're paying $150 million plus other monies for players nowadays, and it's. Clubs, especially in the COVID year, are bleeding money, hundreds of millions, and just losing money. So, as a team president, they have to figure out a way. They need to do Super League and do away with the Champions League, or keep Champions League and revamp it, because what currently is going on is not working. But many fans are upset, saying that they are fans, not customers, and
Well, I
that
would
they're
be
putting
upset, too.
football,
Yeah.
like Chelsea fans are got banners that say "Rest in peace, football, 1863 to 2021."
What do you think when these teams travel and they go to places that don't get to see big-name teams like Real Madrid or Manchester United, when you get to go and see those teams at your home or whatever, if you're in that hometown, it's a lot of fun. You take that away, a lot of these fans just kind of end up not wanting to go to any more soccer games because they're not even fans of the team that's in their city. You know what I mean? So, I mean, a lot of these clubs might lose some big money if these big teams if that actually happens, but they are probably going not to do it because everyone has shown their frustration.
As of about 30 seconds ago, Manchester City is pulled out.
Yep. So that is official, and that wraps it for our show. It was a good time, boys. I appreciate you guys coming once again. Thank you guys for joining. Jeff Matthews, Ashton Rich, Brad Bader. We'll see you guys next week on Crunch Time.